Now joining us in the studio is the President, PMI Nigeria Chapter, Dr. Lambert Ofoegbu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, very interesting that we're talking about project management, being able to grow Nigeria's economy. Can you help us understand how that is possible?
Yeah, it is possible because, first of all, what you ask is, what is project management? It is about using processes to deliver on any particular objective. And now we are discussing project economy. What is it all about? It is about preparing people for the right skills required and being able to deliver on obligations.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the project economy.
Preparing people for the right skills required. So how can we use that to drive the nation's economy?
You see, we get it wrong when, I'll be careful with my choice of words,
okay.
But we need to be very careful when people that are not properly trained run the economy.
Okay.
Because, like a brief discussion I had with somebody this morning, what is economics? Let's even go to the basics. It's about demand and supply. And when you don't understand the basics, it becomes a problem no matter how difficult, no matter how good it is, if you don't understand the basics. And now project management, for about 50 years now, we have been doing a lot. Now the focus is on the project manager. And now our new slogan is the project economy. So it is about delivery. We have instances, even in Nigeria here, whereby our projects are even outdated before they deliver, meaning failed projects. We have instances whereby we set up on objectives, even when we deliver, it is outdated. So economically, it doesn't make sense. So it's about
loss to the economy.
Yeah, loss to the economy.
Okay, so looking at a place like Nigeria, for instance, just like you said, that sometimes we set up objectives that have already failed even before we carry out those goals and objectives that we set out to. So what do you think can be done? You know, from the leaders to the people on the streets, how should we take project management?
It's about requirements. You need to make out time to know requirements of your project, the stakeholders management, what is it that I want to do. It's not just you conceptualize things on your own and you go ahead and do it. Whatever, there is a term called organizational project management. It means aligning whatever project you deliver to your strategic objective. First of all, you need to envision it. And now all the processes will now gear towards delivering that strategy.
Okay, so looking at all of this now, how, for individuals, how can we use project management to boost our own capacity?
Yeah, that's what I meant by when I said made possible by project managers.
Okay.
As an individual, you need to get the required skills. That's number one. In PMI, we have various certifications, starting with Certified Associate in Project Management, being a project management professional, risk management professional, for scheduling, for variety. So make out time. PMI is for advocacy. We are not into competition with anybody. It's for advocacy. It's a non-for-profit organization.
For advocacy for the best practice.
For best practice of project management.
Right.
So you start with there, you go through our standards, and you get prepared to run yourself and run the project economy.
All right, Lambert Ofoegbu, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Dr. Lambert Ofoegbu, the president of PMI Nigeria Chapter, and Titilola Park Africa Region Mentor, PMI Education Foundation. They are here with us this morning. Thank you very much for joining
Gentleman and lady, thank you so much for
having us.
All right, so first of all, let's Okay, no, let's do the ladies first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, after gentlemen.
Well, let's take the lady first. So, so looking at what this project management aims to achieve, organizational success, looking at the structure that we have in Nigeria, how does project management come to play when it comes to having an saying that an organization is successful?
Okay. Project management starts from conceptualizing when you're planning, when you're doing your strategic plan. Okay, so we all know that nobody has infinite resources. You want to channel your resources optimally. So that is the role project management plays. Comes right from selection of the right projects when you have a number of things that you could possibly be doing, how you plan to execute what it is you've decided to do, and then how you monitor and control those to see that you deliver the value that you intended to deliver without blowing your budget, without having time overruns, for example. So that's the way that you can apply project management as an organization.
Okay, so she mentioned about project management helping us with our strategic plan. Now, how does it help us avoid mistakes?
Okay, it starts from when we say project management, there is under an umbrella of what we call portfolio, program, projects. Okay. Project is at its lower level, but when we say project management is a whole concept together. Portfolio management starts with investment decision. You have to do a lot to say, okay, this is where we are investing into. Then program will now kind of segregate it into multiple related projects. Then you go down to project management. You see, no need of talking long story. I will give you an instance of what a failed project can do. Okay. And now link it to project economy. There's something going on in Lagos, between Lagos and Ogun State now, about having a dam that failed to deliver electricity for which it was meant to deliver. And now what happens? The project failed. They are storing water. And they release the water, people are sent.
People's houses are submerged.
That's an example of
and the ripple effect. So when a project fails, I'm bringing the economy into it now. How on earth did they get to that investment decision? Okay. Before you now start saying, what is the purpose of the project? Who monitored it? How did it happen? And now the cost of failure.
So how do we solve that particular issue, the cost of failure? How do we solve it when it comes?
In the first instance, there's no need of saying ideal situation. In the first instance, if you do what you're supposed to do in terms of investment decisions, the failure will not come.
True.
That's management.
Okay.
Then, project management is what we call iterative. You do, plan, check. Okay. So at each point in time, you should have a sign of, is this thing working? If it's not working, you must not complete a project, even if it's not working. You terminate it, and once it goes through a process of orderly closure, somehow it's a successful project because you have lessons learned from it.
So even if it's failed?
We shouldn't wait till it gets to failure.
Okay.
If you are doing proper project management, at intervals, you should cross-check. Am I on the right direction? We plan to do this. What's the extent of deviation? Are we still going to achieve what we set out to achieve? At each point in time, there is nothing, because environment change.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with, I started off with this, a major thing happened. We cannot succeed if we move at this rate. Therefore, with all the things I am seeing, it is practically impossible to realize this project. You close it. And for me, it is still a successful project, because what it will do is that because you closed it in an orderly manner, you have created a body of knowledge for lessons learned. So next time, you now know what to do, not to get into that situation. But when you leave it and, you know, everything collapses, that's not good.
Okay, let's move to her now. So looking at what he has said, how do we apply strategy? I'm going holistic now in our education sector in this country, looking at the fact that at every point we have had series of strikes, especially with our universities. How do we apply it to our institutions such that we can project and make plans?
That's a tough question, relating it to the education sector in general.
Yeah.
But what I would say is to start early with the children when they are young,
okay,
so that you imbibe those values in them. How I wish that the government would begin to look at this as a tool to even have a strategic plan for Nigeria as a whole, okay, so that we are in alignment all the way and we are result-oriented. But looking at education, and that's why I love to focus with the kids, that's where you can start and you can make it like second nature to them, okay, so that they always check in themselves by themselves.
So we've had the Nigerian government, of course, come up with some projects, you know, where they have to tell us that made in Nigeria good, we should purchase made in Nigeria good. I believe that's a project. In it,
yeah.
That's not a project that
the
Nigeria government.
Yeah, but you can still
So let's look at how, you know, one embarks on a project when it comes to you want to achieve a particular objective. So what are the steps you take when you want to embark on a project like that to reorientate a nation, for instance?
Okay, so in project management we have 5 phases, which we call the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closeout. So for such a project, at the initiation stage is where you do gathering, understanding what exactly you want to do. You gather requirements, you understand who are your stakeholders, who do I need to engage, who does this thing affect, who can, if I don't engage with them adequately, who can bring about an adverse effect on my project. They are also stakeholders. What do I want to achieve? So we say there's an element of progressive elaboration in project management. You don't have to know everything, but you have to know where you're going. For example, you know you want to go to London, for example. Do you want to go by sea? Do you want to go by air? Do you want to drive there? Do you want to walk there? You just know the destination.
You can drive to London.
So you start by knowing your destination, and then you study the subject. What do I want to do? Who do I need to consult? Okay. For example, what's the best way to get there? So that's really how you progressively elaborate on your project to get you to the desired output.
All right, Titilola Park and Lambert Ofoegbu, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.